Have you ever considered how a few quietly spoken words to yourself can completely change the direction of your day or even your entire life? Think about the immense power held in a single thought. This isn't mere poetic reflection. It's deeply rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism, where the wise learn to master the mind and convert external hardships into inner strength and insight. Today, we're going to explore how the Stoic discipline of intentional self-talk can guide you through the chaos of life while reshaping the very fabric of your daily reality. If you're someone who doubts that thoughts can influence outcomes, this journey may challenge what you believe to be true, but I encourage you to stay with it until the end. This exploration of Stoic mental discipline promises not only ideas but also actionable tools you can begin using immediately to witness real transformation. So, if you're ready to uncover how ancient Stoic philosophy converges with modern psychology to unlock a life of deeper fulfillment and self-control, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Spread the wisdom with others walking their path of growth and understanding. Let's dive into how your thoughts can move you from simply reacting to life to actively shaping it. It might sound mystical, but it's actually grounded in neuroscience and psychology. Every thought, whether it's about what to eat or how you view yourself, activates specific neural networks, creating pathways in the brain. These neural roots influence how we interpret and respond to the world around us. Now connect this with Stoic teachings. It's not the external events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. This aligns precisely with neuroscience. We repeatedly think negatively, such as believing, "I'm not good enough." We solidify those patterns into default responses. But here's the empowering truth. You can build different mental roads. Each time you replace a limiting belief with an empowering one, you're not just thinking positively, you're physically rewiring your brain. This process, called shows our minds are in a constant state of change, shaped by what we think and feel. Stoicism doesn't stop at observing our thoughts. It urges us to consciously swap damaging ones for helpful ones. Picture a stressful work moment. Instead of spiraling into anxiety, a Stoic would see it as a chance to demonstrate resilience. This isn't just a mental shift, it affects brain chemistry too. Positive thoughts release dopamine and serotonin, helping you feel stronger and more capable. So when we talk about thought discipline through Stoicism, we're not lost in abstract ideas. We're talking about real, biological transformation that begins now. Every encouraging word you say to yourself builds a stronger, healthier mind and a more joyful life. The practice of positive self-talk is central to this. It's the internal dialogue that can either lift you up or drag you down. Stoicism teaches that our inner speech shapes our emotional world and our choices. It's not just about wishful thinking, it's about engaging with reality from a place of strength. What does this look like in practice? It starts with becoming aware of your inner voice. Are you constantly criticizing yourself? Then it's time to reframe. Instead of saying, "I always mess things up," a Stoic would say, "I made a mistake, but I can learn from it." This isn't about ignoring problems, but viewing them through a lens of growth. Why does this matter? Because every word you say to yourself shapes your self-belief, your sense of who you are and what you're capable of. By shifting from critical to constructive self-talk, you increase your sense of agency, the belief that you can influence your life. Like any skill, it takes time and practice. Catch yourself in negative moments, pause, and reframe. It might feel unnatural at first, but over time, just like the Stoics who wrote daily reflections to build character, this practice becomes second nature. Stoicism also emphasizes that life will bring hardship. Positive self-talk isn't about denial, but preparation. By reinforcing your strength through affirming thoughts, you're not just coping, you're training your mind to grow through adversity. Importantly, Stoic self-talk doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means accepting what you can't change while focusing on what you can. Your perspective, your reaction, your mindset. This powerful mental alignment creates a life that remains steady regardless of what happens outside. That's the true foundation of Stoic resilience, one built on emotional alignment and visualization, strengthened through every intentional thought. The Stoics were strong proponents of aligning emotions with reason, believing that genuine contentment arises not from external circumstances, but from within. This philosophical stance closely mirrors the modern idea of emotional alignment, where the goal is to ensure our emotional responses support our deeper values and life goals, rather than undermine them. A crucial tool in cultivating this harmony is visualization, the practice of vividly imagining a desired outcome or state of being. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a deliberate mental rehearsal of the emotional and behavioral responses we hope to embody. For the Stoics, this might mean visualizing themselves, navigating adversity with calmness and virtue, mentally preparing to act in line with their principles when the time comes. Why does this matter? Because the brain, in many cases, responds to imagined scenarios as though they are real. Visualization activates the same neural circuits that actual experiences do, meaning that when we routinely visualize success or tranquility, we're training our brains to respond accordingly in real situations. Emotional alignment enhances this process further when your current emotional state mirrors the feelings you visualize, such as confidence or calm. The brain begins to internalize that state as reality. So, when visualizing yourself giving a powerful speech, for instance, intentionally feel the confidence you'd have in that moment. This emotional congruence strengthens the mental pattern. But how can we integrate this into a Stoic practice? Stoicism teaches us to use reason to govern our emotional responses, which means we can use visualization not just to imagine outcomes, but to mentally rehearse how to respond virtuously to challenges. Visualize receiving criticism with grace, rather than defensiveness, and you prime your mind to act that way in real life. This kind of mental training aligns with Stoic virtues like wisdom, courage, and temperance, and transforms these exercises from occasional techniques into everyday habits. Much like the Stoic practices of morning preparation and evening reflection. These reflections ground us in principle and prepare us for both action and rest. Central to all this is the Stoic emphasis on acknowledging reality, seeing the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. This doesn't mean being pessimistic. It means taking a rational, unclouded view of our circumstances. Self-improvement often begins with this clarity, as it challenges both excessive optimism and destructive negativity. A Stoic embraces this rational middle ground, recognizing both the difficulty of a situation and the inherent opportunity for growth. For example, when facing a tough period in life, acknowledging reality means accepting the challenge without denial but also without despair. Stoicism teaches that every challenge is a chance to practice virtue, patience, creativity, resilience. Marcus Aurelius's idea that the obstacle is the way encourages us to see adversity not as a roadblock, but as the path itself. This perspective shifts us from passive victims of circumstance to active participants in our own growth, engaged in a dynamic interplay between external events and internal response. It's not just about surviving hardship, it's about responding with skill, courage, and clarity. Additionally, acknowledging reality means preparing for future hardship through practices like premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evil's ware. Stoics would imagine potential difficulties in order to prepare emotionally and mentally. This isn't negative thinking, but a form of psychological readiness that reduces the shock of adversity. By envisioning potential setbacks and visualizing your virtuous response, you develop emotional resilience and a calm sense of preparedness. Finally, all of this rests on the foundation of consistency and habit formation. The Stoics knew that virtue isn't theoretical. It's something cultivated through daily practice. Similarly, any meaningful change in mindset or behavior, it's mastering emotional alignment, refining your self-talk, or deepening your self-awareness, requires consistent repetition. Just as physical strength is built through repeated effort, mental and emotional strength develops through repeated action. Each time you choose gratitude over complaint, calm over reactivity, or growth over defeat, you reinforce neural pathways that make those choices easier in the future. Like a river slowly shaping rock, your repeated choices shape the architecture of your mind. For the Stoics, the daily practice of virtues wasn't optional, it was essential training for life. The Stoics often likened their philosophical practices to an athlete's training regimen, emphasizing that just as an athlete must consistently train to remain in peak physical condition, a Stoic must commit to daily philosophical discipline to maintain moral and mental strength. This is where the concept of ascesis, or disciplined practice, becomes central, not as a form of harsh self-denial, but as a structured and intentional routine designed to align daily actions with core values and build inner character. In modern terms, habit formation demands consistency. Because of what's known as the compound effect, small, repeated actions accumulate over time to produce significant outcomes. For example, if your goal is to develop a more positive mindset, you must embed practices that nurture positivity into your everyday life, such as beginning each morning by listing 3 things you're grateful for, or consciously replacing recurring negative thoughts with constructive affirmations. However, cultivating new habits isn't just about what we do. It also involves shaping an environment that supports these efforts. The Stoics understood the importance of minimizing temptation and distraction, a principle similar to removing junk food from your home if you're trying to eat healthier. If you aim to improve your mental habits, this might mean limiting your exposure to negative influences, whether that's certain media or unhelpful relationships that don't contribute to your growth. The real test comes not during moments of motivation, but when enthusiasm fades or life becomes difficult. This is where Stoic endurance and patience are essential. True consistency means showing up and maintaining your practices even when it's inconvenient, tiring, or challenging. Stoicism reminds us to anticipate and accept obstacles as part of any meaningful pursuit, the ultimate goal of habit formation. In the Stoic worldview isn't superficial success, but personal transformation, becoming a more virtuous, grounded, and fulfilled human being. This process reshapes not just our behaviors, but our very character. A key part of that transformation is building resilience through positive speech, a Stoic principle rooted in the belief that our thoughts and words directly influence our reality and our response to it. Stoicism doesn't merely tell us to endure adversity, it teaches us to convert it into an opportunity for growth. Words, in Stoic thought, are not meaningless. They are manifestations of our judgments and the precursors of action. Speaking positively, especially about our ability to handle hardship, is not about blind optimism. It's about cultivating a mindset that sees adversity as something manageable, temporary, and even instructive. For instance, if you face a setback and respond with, "I can't do this," you reinforce a belief in helplessness. But if you say, "This is hard, but I've faced hard things before," you frame the challenge as surmountable, activating your brain's problem-solving mechanisms instead of triggering a defeatist spiral. Resilience is built when this kind of language becomes habitual, when repeated affirmations of strength and capability become your subconscious default in difficult times. Stoics often engaged in daily reflections or meditative practices, reminding themselves of their resilience and capacity for virtue, which served as mental training for future trials. Positive speech also enhances emotional regulation, helping us remain clear-headed and composed under stress. Stoicism promotes a steady, even-keeled demeanor in the face of life's highs and lows, and the words we choose shape our emotional climate. When we use language that emphasizes control, hope, and perspective, we create emotional distance from panic or despair, allowing wisdom to guide our actions. Furthermore, positive speech has a communal effect. When we speak kindly and constructively, not just to ourselves, but to others, we foster an environment of mutual encouragement, something deeply valued in Stoic communities, where individuals supported one another in pursuit of the common good. Each time you encounter a challenge, pause and choose your words intentionally. Speak with hope, clarity, and purpose. Reflect on previous victories and remind yourself of your ability to adapt and persevere. Extend this same positivity to those around you, and let their encouragement strengthen you in return. Over time, this practice will not only bolster your ability to handle individual hardships, it will change the way you live, making you stronger, calmer, and more empowered in every area of life. Finally, at the heart of Stoic resilience lies gratitude and acceptance. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we already possess, cultivating a mindset of contentment that remains steady even amid life's turbulence. But Stoicism goes further. It challenges us to find gratitude not only in blessings, but also in trials. Though it may seem paradoxical, Every challenge offers a hidden opportunity to grow, to develop a virtue, or to deepen our understanding. Gratitude in this broader Stoic sense means being thankful for the entire spectrum of experience, not just the comfortable parts. This perspective is transformative because it changes the way we engage with life itself. We stop merely enduring and start actively appreciating. Each obstacle becomes a teacher, each setback a sculptor of character. In practicing gratitude, we learn to embrace life as it is not perfect, but full of potential, lining our attitude with reality and empowering ourselves to thrive within it. ChatGPT said, "But engaging with life actively and positively is at the heart of Stoic gratitude that isn't based on fleeting pleasures or ideal outcomes, but on appreciating the here and now without constant longing for more or regret over what's past. It's about recognizing the worth of the present moment and utilizing whatever resources are currently available. Instead of lamenting what's lacking, a Stoic asks, what can I do with what I have? Finding strength in resourcefulness and pride in developing traits like resilience, adaptability, and perseverance that serve well regardless of circumstance. Alongside this, acceptance plays an equally vital role. But Stoic acceptance is not passive surrender. It is an active recognition of what lies within our control, our thoughts, choices, and actions, and what lies outside of it, which includes nearly everything else. By learning to focus only on what we can influence, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration, directing our energy where it can actually make a difference. This powerful duo, gratitude and acceptance, works together to foster peace of mind and emotional balance. It teaches us to be content with what we have while remaining patient with life's process. Not because we've stopped striving, but because we're striving from a place of calm strength rather than agitation or desperation. In practice, this might look like starting your day with 3 things you're grateful for, including life's challenges, and throughout the day, asking the Stoic question, is this within my control? If it isn't, release it. If it is, engage with it. Over time, such practices reshape the mental landscape, making gratitude and acceptance the default mode rather than the exception. A practical Stoic tool that deepens this is negative visualization, the mental exercise of imagining the loss of people or things you value, not to incite sadness, but to heighten your appreciation and remind you of life's impermanence. While it may sound grim, this is a powerful way to stay grounded in gratitude for what is, rather than dwelling on what isn't. Moving from reflection to action, let's explore 2 tools that further enrich the Stoic mindset: empowering questions and future self-talk. These techniques help align our minds with virtue and direct our actions with intention. Empowering questions are designed to shift our thinking from helplessness to growth, rather than asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" which frames us as passive victims. An empowering question might be, "What can I learn from this?" Or "How can I grow stronger through this experience?" Such questions encourage critical thinking and promote personal responsibility, echoing the Stoic call to examine our lives through the lens of reason and virtue. Regularly asking questions like, "Is this within my control?" or "What's Stoic?" virtue can I apply right now, grounds us in the moment and helps reorient our response toward wisdom, courage, temperance, or justice. Alongside this, future self-talk is a powerful Stoic-lined practice of speaking to yourself as if you've already become the person you strive to be. It's not delusion, it's direction. Saying to yourself, I am someone who remains calm. Under pressure is an internal rehearsal of the virtue you aim to cultivate. Though you may currently struggle, this kind of talk sets a mental precedent and gradually bridges the gap between your current self and your ideal self. It's similar to the Stoic practice of acting as if you already embody the virtue you are developing. Over time, this consistency creates identity and reinforces habits. But this isn't merely about self-improvement. It's about serving the common good. Stoicism teaches that we are all connected, and our progress should uplift not only ourselves, but those around us. Empowering questions and future self-talk, when practiced with sincerity, help us become stronger, wiser, more compassionate individuals, assets to the communities we belong to. To make these practices a part of daily life, start by identifying areas where you feel stuck, then craft empowering questions that reframe those challenges. Practice future self-talk in the morning or during journaling. Envision your future self handling difficulty with grace and strength. Each question you ask, each affirmation you repeat, becomes a step toward who you're becoming. Thank you for being here and for being part of this growing Stoic journal community. The journey toward a virtuous, resilient, and fulfilled life is a daily effort, one thought, one word, one choice at a time. Keep asking the right questions. Keep speaking to your future self with conviction. And most of all, keep growing. If today's reflection inspired you, explore the suggested videos on your screen to deepen your Stoic practice. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and live stoically.